This is your dose of daily market wisdom with master trader Nick Santiago. Starting from humble beginnings, Nick has been beating the markets for over 2 decades. He shares with you his take on the profitable trades that will have you moving towards financial freedom in no time at all. To see an in-depth review of his track record and much more, go to inthemoneystocks.com. Welcome, and you are listening to your daily dose of Daily Market Wisdom with Master Trader Nick Santiago. I'm Kerry Lutz. Today is June 3rd, 2020. This is show number 47. Nick, well, the world might be going to hell in a handbasket, but at least people will be employed when it gets there.
Yeah, well, hopefully. It's pretty neat to see that number, though, that came out this morning with the ADP job report. So that basically was so much better than, the expectations. Expectations were for a negative 9 million, and we got negative 2.76 million. So that was a much, much better read overall. And, again, as this economy starts to open up, things will get a little bit better. And that's how you have to look at it, one day at a time. But so far, so good. Yeah.
So when we're looking here, 2.76 million versus 9 million. It just shows you about experts, doesn't it?
Yeah, it really does. Now we have to look forward to the Friday report, though, which is going to come out from the Bureau of Labor Statistics, basically the government report, and that'll be the non-farm payroll report for the month of May. That comes out the first Friday of the month of June. So we'll see what their reading is. But, very, very good number. ADP uses very similar dates as the Bureau of Labor Statistics. So the market puts a lot of work, puts a lot of stock into the ADP report. I actually think it's a more legitimate report anyway.
Hey, well, what's interesting is under the definition of unemployment that we use for the U1, you're technically not unemployed. Well, the definition is either you're collecting unemployment insurance or you're no longer looking for work. But the fact is that all these people who are collecting now, most of them, the large portion of them, are not looking for work because they're furloughed. And so technically they aren't strictly unemployed. Now, how many will never come back from furlough? We don't know that, but my guess is it's going to be less. That number will be lower than anybody ever expected because we see where the experts' heads are at.
Yeah, I agree 100% with that. And, these reports, if you look at them, they're very, very finicky. That's why I think the ADP report is actually a better report. When you look at the Friday report, which will be from the Bureau of Labor Statistics, there's a birth death rate and all this other stuff in there. So I like the ADP report a little bit better.
Yeah, and perhaps less of a political agenda in that report as well. Yeah, basically, they're the largest payroll supplier of payroll services in the country, probably the world. And so their numbers generally are going to be better, but they do tend to get more white collar than blue collar. So I guess they adjust for that. They've got their index that they use. But moving on here, so gold and silver having a pullback day, which was welcomed by you.
Yeah, it's welcomed and expected. So no surprise. Today we have the GLD down about 2%. Looks like we have August gold at the moment down about 40 points. So that's a pretty big hit there. But again, you don't want to see that just skyrocket like it's been doing. You want to see these pullbacks. This is healthy. This is overall good if you're looking for gold down the road like I am. I'm not jumping on board at these highs, and I've been warning everybody up here saying, hey, they need to pull back. You don't want these patterns that they're forming right now. Pullbacks will ultimately be healthy and lead to higher prices down the road. And great sell-off today in GDX, which is gold miners, down about 4.5%, $1.55 decline there on GDX, now trading at 32.50. And then you have SLV down 50 cents, which is about a 3% decline. It looks like silver today, silver futures, if I could find it. Where is it? But that's down, about the same. So again, let these things pull back and they'll give you setups down the road. That's really what it's all about.
Hey, and we did so well on SLV on that move, both on the stock and on the options. Now it's going to provide another entry point.
Yes, and we did the option twice, and that's what people don't realize. To do the option twice, you make 25, and I think we made 25% both times. That's a tremendous gain. Think about what you get in a savings account in the bank these days. So people should just realize a little bit. Sometimes you throw these numbers around, but you don't realize what a substantial gain they are.
Yeah, totally true. So now we're going to do a new section of the program, although some of you out there might think the whole program is about that. But the pat on the back section for the following trades. We got BP, which has been a loser since you recommended it, but now is way up. We've got Mickey D's, McDonald's, broke 190, which you said was resistance. And we got Rio Tinto, which I'll let you talk about them.
Well, I mean, these are all, I don't give out every trade that I do out here on the block. And a lot of times how I trade is I put 10% of my account in every trade. So, I have a rather large position in everything that I do. So my money, is where my mouth is. And, McDonald's, like I said, I love the pattern. Now the stock's almost at, trading at 192.85. I mean, it's just soaring and roaring here. And like I said, once it gets through that 190 area, it should start to break loose. I took half of the trade off, and I moved the stop to break even now. Another trade I talked about was Rio. This is up another 1.7, 1.65% today. And again, it's getting up to my target. I'm up over 10% on the second half of that position. BP, I've been just, pounding the floor that the energy charts are good. So, I mean, nobody should really be shocked at that. I don't like to take victory laps. That's just not my kind of guy, because one thing I've learned in this business, I'm only as good as my last trade. I've now have traded tens of thousands of great trades in my life, and I'm only as good as the last one, because, you'll get somebody that comes along, they don't know you. I get some nasty emails. You don't trade enough. This business is a marathon. It is not a sprint. I have one loss in my last 50-something trades on swings. And what we didn't mention today, Kerry, I also took a big gain this morning, 23% in Wells Fargo in just a couple of days off of a failed pattern move that I gave to my membership. So again, in my options program, I'm up over 800% in that program. And, you're only as good as your last trade. And again, people have to realize this is not a gambling parlor. If you're looking to go into a gambling parlor, you should just go to Las Vegas. If you're looking to make money consistently and have the odds in your favor, then you come see me, come talk to me. But, I always see people out there, they just want to be in a million things. And that's kind of stupid. If you ask me, I have no respect for people that do that. It's just pure gambling. I don't gamble. Right. And, I've been saying since the March lows, hey, stick with the market. We're going to ride this thing up. And when I see a sell signal, I'll let you know. And it's been the right move.
Oh, hey, and now that you mention that, so look at our broader indices. S&P 500 broke 3,100.
That's right. S&P 500 right now is above 3,100. It's currently sitting right at 3,111. And, it's a pretty good day today so far. Yeah. And I also said the Dow would go to 26,000. We're at 26,073 now.
Yeah. So.
And that was when the Dow was, I forget when we first mentioned it. We'd have to go back and look at all the tape. But I mean, maybe that was when the Dow was under 23,000.
Yeah, under 23. That's correct. Yeah. That was 47 trading days ago. And yeah, none of these pundits out there, CNBC, Wall Street Journal, Barron's, virtually no one was calling for this. There are a couple of other people who were, to be fair, but they were like you, the outliers.
Yeah, the one thing I like to do that I like to be against the crowd. I hate to say it like that, but that's just my nature. So I'm always, whenever I see, you remember Options X when David Tepper came out, when Stan Druckenmiller came out, and they were saying this is the worst market. The market's, I was saying I don't see that. I'm sticking with the market. I'm not sure if they're going to be right or wrong, but we'll see. I'm going to put my money where my mouth is, and ultimately, look what they cause people to probably sell and panic, and they're not making a single nickel.
Yeah, that's such a great point. And hey. Look at Buffett with the airline stocks. right? It looks like he sold at exactly the wrong moment.
Sold at, I don't know exactly, because we don't know exactly where he got out, but when he touted the collapse of them was basically right at the dead lows. And I was saying, hey, this is a buying opportunity. And sure enough, that was the case.
Hey, United is up 2% today. We like Southwest, probably the best airline out there, and they're cashing in on lower fuel prices, lower jet fuel prices. They're up 36. They're up to $36, up 4.6% today.
Yeah, my wife just bought 3 round trip tickets for a family of 5. So just think about that. 3 different trips we just took, and we're just loading them up because you can cancel anytime you want. It's fantastic.
Yeah, that's the way it
I don't know
should
why
be.
people aren't taking a deal right now.
Yeah, that's the way it should be anyway. You should be able to cancel. They've taken such advantage of the public. And Delta, another one, $27.85, up $1.44, 5.5% move. And then so you nailed that sector pretty darn well. And then when we look at the hotels, man, Hyatt is up almost 6% today.
Yeah, Hyatt, Marriott, Hilton, Choice Hotels, they're all higher today. I mean, I'm not in that one right now, but I did Hyatt twice. I mean, we made over 50% just because I know the direction of the stock. The pattern, is very sloppy and choppy because this is that kind of market that we're in. But you have to know that underlying pattern trend, and that'll take you to the promised land.
Yeah, and hey, I'm looking at Hilton, which at one point was your favorite. It's up 4%, but not so much from that. It's at $87. We were talking about it. It was at $67. And your thought was it's going back up to 97.
Yeah, and I still am in that camp. We'll probably pause at 90, obviously, because that's just such a big move. And you got a 200-period moving average around there. But, great move. And Hyatt was the one I played. And, that trend is up now in Hyatt. So you could buy those pullbacks, and they look good.
So I'm going to throw something at you, a hypothesis. I have no idea if it's right or not. But maybe the stock market collapse we had wasn't just foreseeing the COVID-19 pandemic, but it also was foreseeing social unrest resulting from it, and it's already written all that off.
It's a very, very valid point. I try not to get political, especially in here, but a lot of this is politics. I mean, let's look at this country and look at the division, look at the news stations that we have out there. I mean, I've never in my lifetime, I'm 50 years old, I've never, ever seen anything like this in the media. This is a media circus, and it's very slanted. Whether you like the president or you don't, I've never seen a president disrespected by the media or the press face to face in a press conference like this in history. And we talked about that. So, again, that's why I use charts, just to clear out that noise. And I just go with the charts. And if the charts tell me tomorrow I need to reverse course and get short, that's what I would do. It's always about the charts. You just keep all of the noise out. I don't even watch CNBC anymore. I haven't watched it for over 2 months. So I just go about it. I'll have on little music in the background when I'm trading in my office, and I just let the charts tell me what to do.
It reminds me when I was a kid in high school, there was a comedy group called Firesign Theater, and I think it was one of their first albums was Everything You Know Is Wrong. And when it comes to the market and it comes to the economy and trends and, making money, I think that is a valid point. Probably until you get into it, everything you know and think about the market is wrong.
You have to be wired a certain way here, and that's what I try to teach my membership, and I really try. I try to bolt it into their brains that you have to think differently and you have to think independently. You can't think in terms of just a flat, straight. The earth is not flat. It's circular, and all the different methods that I know, whether it's wave patterns, whether it's GAN techniques. I mean, you're talking about 25 years of studying that, and I'm still learning each and every day. So I'm forever a student of the market. But I always tell everybody, get educated, start somewhere, and protect your family, protect yourself, and you won't need to depend on somebody telling you a story about the next cure for cancer.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Couldn't have said it better myself, Nick. And just one other thing is there are people that you and I both know who are very capable, very good at technical analysis, chart reading, and all of this, and they miss this as well.
Yeah, I mean, I never compare myself to anybody. I'm not in a competition with anybody. All I'll say is that I don't think there's anybody that works harder than me. And, I've studied many great coaches. I've met, the legendary John Madden. I had lunch with him one time for over 3 hours. It was in Carmel, California. And he taught me, not that I didn't have that work ethic before, I did. He said, you'll be surprised when you do a little bit extra. And he told me about a seminar he went to with Vince Lombardi. And Vince Lombardi spent 8 hours talking about the power sweep. And he sat in the back of the class the first half of the day, and he goes, I realized what an idiot I was. I better move up to the front because I know nothing about this power sweep. This guy's spending 8 hours on one play.
Wow.
And that always intrigued me when he said that to me, because I was pretty much in that camp that, I will study this one pattern until I know it inside and out. And, that's what I've been able to do basically going forward.
Yeah, and it's paid off both for me and for a lot of you out there listening, which is why you got to pick up tomorrow. We will be back tomorrow with the latest trades and the latest news. You got to understand one thing. Nick is not going to give you every trade that he's involved in right now. You got to go over to inthemoneystocks.com, sign up for one of his various programs there, and then you'll get a front row seat to the coming trades that Nick is personally doing. He's not just telling you, do this, do that, and not doing it himself. Every trade that Nick recommends, he's got skin in the game on. And I think that's one of the major things that differentiates you from all the others. You're not thinking about copper, or you're not thinking about gold per se. You're only looking at the charts, identifying opportunities. If they come up in copper or gold, then you're off to the races, or oil for that matter. But you don't just do like a market rundown and, say, oh, do this, but you're not doing it. I guess that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I mean, I'm in every single play that I'm in. And that's why people got to understand, they say, how come you can't get more trades out? Well, if I take 10% of my account in every position, you only got 100% to work with. I mean, so that's where we are. But the report alone, if you just watch the report, I can't tell you, I've gotten hundreds of emails from people saying the report alone is worth the price of admission, just simply because they were not betting against the market. They're reading these guys on Twitter, hedge fund managers betting against the market, and they're getting their head slammed in. So again, just good to be on the right side of the tape.
Yeah, that's what counts. And the only sports bettors I've ever met who were successful were guys who selectively chose games to bet on, didn't bet on every game, because you're going to wind up losing money and being behind the eight ball from that. So anyway, go over to inthemoneystocks.com, check out Nick's record, where he's at, and see all the other information that will help you become a successful trader. And follow the Twitter feeds at ITMS, at Nick Santiago 01, and of course at Kerry Lutz. Nick, we'll pick up tomorrow.
Sounds good, Kerry. Thank you.
This concludes another episode of Daily Market Wisdom with Master Trader Nick Santiago. For more information, go to inthemoneystocks.com and see Nick's full trading record, or check out the Twitter feeds at ITMS and at Nick Santiago 01.